Now. All right, babe. All right, bye. How you doing, sir?
What's up, Mr. Pat? What's happening with you?
Good. Let me get to a better spot where it's a little better light.
Cool.
Okay. 1 second. Are we recording or not yet?
Yep, we're recording, but it's fine.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
We get to show everyone all of our imperfect imperfections,
Hey,
and still able to do what we do.
That's all right. I'm gonna use that table. I got one of my partners who's going to be listening in the background.
Okay.
And his name is Ashford.
Cool, man.
How you doing?
What's up, man? How are you?
Doing well. Familiar.
Hey, the printing.
You ever been to jail before?
Yeah, I finished shot in Temple Hills.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. I'm like, okay, your grandfather owns the place or something like that, right?
Not grandfather.
Somebody else. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
confused with somebody else.
That's cool.
Sure. I'm on here.
Yeah.
Cool.
He actually was helping me in the very beginning when I was building the house.
Uh-huh.
He was helping me with the foundation.
Okay.
Yeah. So for the longest, a lot of my core friends have been interesting. They've been interested in real estate.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I always have been, but I guess the last 4 years we jumped on in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about this deal, this house, maybe how you came across it, what you're looking to possibly do with it, and then how potentially we can work together on it.
Yeah. Well, I was in the middle of working on my house, and I have a real estate agent that I've had for the longest who's been knowing my personal interest of jacked up houses. And so she knew this would be something I'd be interested in when most people wouldn't.
Yeah.
And I don't care what the house looks like, as long as it looks like I would live there myself with my kid, send it to me.
Yeah.
However it looks like.
Yeah.
And so she sent it to me, and it was only like 2 days on the market. And that's how I found out about the house.
Gotcha. How many bed? How many bath?
I believe it's 4 beds, 3 baths.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll actually, I can actually share my screen.
Okay, great. Let's do that.
And
I'm gonna pull it up too while we're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. All right. So from the front here, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. No.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it's 4 bed, 4 baths. Yeah, 4,200 square feet, including all 3 levels, basement included.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a backyard. Oh yeah, I see down here at the bottom. 4 bed, 4 bath, 4,200 square feet. Oh man, what happened here?
Yeah, well, there had to be some fire in the kitchen. It seems like that's not a problem. That's not intimidating. Obviously, the most important piece of this house is the foundation is just sitting pretty. And the only question now is just basically how much work from the bottom of that looks like what is that? I'm not gonna say the bottom of that plyboard, but from the bottom of that plyboard up, let's just see how much structural strength there is, and then just go from there. That's how I look at it. Yeah.
Okay. And then on, it looks like the roof, obviously, and then there seems to be a lot of siding that's melted as well.
Yep. Then that's not even a problem. That's all superficial material. Again, all that will come off very easily. Only thing behind it is just some piece of wood. Nothing special. Just a piece of wood and some vinyl and some weather strip material, some Tyvek material. Nothing difficult about it.
From your experience on a house of this size, what do you estimate the replacement of siding to be?
Well, just that side alone, that's just that one side of the house alone would probably be $1,500 in siding.
Okay.
And this is if we're able to replace that whole side, or at least match some of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't even take the chance of using any of it really.
So you're kind of saying like, can you see where my mouse is on the left there?
Yeah. If that one's good,
that's okay. We're talking about here and then up here in the top.
Yeah, I would take that because I'm assuming that that's going to go another 30 feet to the right from that point forward.
Yeah.
Okay. And if that's the case, then I'm going to save about $1,500 to do that siding.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
just the material, not the labor, just the material.
Okay.
Yeah.
And from what you know, what area when we enter here, where are we looking? Is this like a living?
This looks like a foyer area, probably. I'm not sure.
I see like in the background, it looks to be a fireplace.
Yeah, I would say that's the living room in that area there.
Okay.
And based on where that pipe is, okay, there's the entrance. Let's see the front.
Right, so entrance there with the chandelier. Wow, that's amazing. They ripped out all the drywall, ripped out maybe some electric, because that looks to be new electric in there.
Yeah.
But they left the chandelier hanging.
Yeah. I think the fire department did all of that, or maybe not the fire department, but the bank probably did all that just that way it was safe for the fire department to do their investigation of what happened.
Got you. So you actually made me think of something. Do you know the status of purchasing a house that had been in a fire? Do you actually know the process to buy it and then rehab it? I mean, I'm assuming the fire department has closed their case on whatever transpired, or do you know when this fire occurred?
I don't know when the fire occurred. What I do currently know is that the house is being sold. Literally, it's not bank owned. It's not an REO. It's being sold just as it is. It's not a cash transaction. It's not a contingency transaction. It's straight up whoever got the money.
Yeah.
However you want to pay for it, as long as it's not traditional financing, or as long as it's not conventional financing, they'll sell it to you.
Okay.
As far as any like processes that have to then take place in order for it to then be habitable because it was on fire, I don't know. Like if it was an asbestos labeled house, then obviously you have to have an asbestos removal, a certified company to remove it with a certificate that they removed it.
Okay.
But in this case, I'm only going to go by the fact that a typical inspector from the county has to obviously come in at a step to make sure that everything is good.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's go back through. Appears to be possibly the kitchen because I see a refrigerator still there.
Yeah, that's definitely the kitchen.
Well, that kitchen was the burnt area, though, wasn't it?
Well, see, this is the main kitchen. I think that area there, if you go back, because I'm looking at that drain is where a kitchen countertop would have been. All right, so that looks like the backyard, and that looks like a small window and a bay window. But now let's go back to the front of it again, the inside. Go again. One more time. Go forward one more time.
Oh, forward. This one?
No. Is that what we were looking at just now? I think
one more. Go to
no. You know what? I think this is exactly what we're looking at because I'm looking at that on the far right corner. I'm looking at plyboard covering that. That's the exact same as the other side.
Yep. Yeah. So if we go back, so we're talking about plywood right there.
Right.
Yep. So it was actually the fireplace was right here.
Yeah. So that was a fireplace issue.
Okay. So yeah, we were thinking it was a kitchen, but no.
Yeah, so that's actually good to see. Okay.
Yeah, because there's that board covering that left window. Okay.
Right. So the back end of that fireplace caught on fire, it seems like.
Yep. It looks like the back. Yep. The back side, because you look up here, it looks like the fire damage is more in the ceiling. It didn't come from the inside.
Right.
Probably in the chimney.
Yeah,
right.
It's probably one of those. Not to interrupt you guys.
So
it's probably one of those. You ever seen those chimney cleaning places where they say, I don't know what exactly the term is called.
No, it's called creosote.
Yeah, it's a term. I don't know the name of it, but they have companies that you have to buy a special log to
Yeah.
burn it in your chimney
Yeah.
to dispose of flammable things that could be caught in the salt in the chimney itself. And it's like it's a special log you have to buy to burn off whatever that smoke in the chimney before, and it smells very different than a regular chimney smelling. I remember we used to do it all the time where you had to buy it and you burn it. We had a chimney before or a fireplace before. You had to burn it once a year before you started your fireplace again, just to get rid of whatever that smell, whatever that stuff was, so you couldn't, number one, push toxic gases back into your house, and number two, that it will burn normally. It'll be like, it's pretty much like clearing a pipe or something like that. It's whatever it is. I don't know. You said the name, but I don't know the name 100%.
Yeah, well, I know the name of what the buildup is called creosote, but
so what is creosote?
Creosote is, I'm not a scientist, but basically certain woods have different moisture or sap in them. So when the wood burns, that sap and other elements in the wood actually build up on the inside of the chimney and are actually flammable.
Yep, that makes sense.
Wow.
Yep.
So that's very interesting. And so therefore, that means that chimney obviously was not it was just like a regular vented chimney, not like it wasn't like a brick and mortar chimney. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, so based on what we were just looking at, there's no brick chimney on the exterior. So it had to have been possibly an electric fireplace. I don't know, but
or gas.
Gas. Yeah, it could be gas, and then they just vented the pipe. Yeah.
Okay.
No. All right. So I don't know where we are.
This is like a room.
Okay,
this downstairs.
Upstairs.
Okay. It could be a bedroom there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it took over the whole roof.
As
soon as it went up there, it just took over the whole roof.
What I'm thinking too, just from looking, not to interrupt you guys, what I'm thinking as well is, I had a house before that caught on fire, and one of the things that happened in houses that caught on fire, there's more extensive damage for water damage from the fire company trying to put the fire out, compared to actually the fire burning stuff. Let's say a fire was burning there, it would drench the whole floor with water. Compared to whatever. So I think their objective was, after they did that, is once the smoke or whatever it was so, because that based on the chimney, it was smoke, it was black smoke that got into the drywall, got into the attic, got into whatever. They had to gut that stuff to get it out so it could get rid of the smoke smell, number one. Then number two, because of, I guess, whatever damage they had to remove all the drywall to
mold,
or to see if there was mold, to see if there any structural damage. So they just gut the drywall out and just now left it. Okay, the foundation is good. It's not water damage, not mold, or salt damage, and they just kind of the skeleton the way it is. That's what I'm seeing.
Oh, yeah, I've seen. I remember I was in college, and there was like a kitchen stove fire at the house next door to where I was living, and the fire department arrived, and it was obvious it was just smoke coming from the kitchen. They came flying in the house. They knocked every window out of the whole house. And it was like a kitchen stove, but they do what they do. We appreciate what they do for us. So, because there's some type of vent right here too.
Yeah, that's definitely a return vent. It looks like for the unit or a service vent.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, like the studs and everything in there look fine. I mean,
nothing wrong with this house at all. Just the roof.
All right. Okay. Cool. So, I guess what is your plan? What do you want to do?
Easy peasy. I mean, first thing I did was looked at the tax value of that house before I looked at anything.
And what is that?
I want to say it was at let me tell you exactly what it was. It was at 400 something. Let me tell you. I saw quickly $429,600.
At 429. Okay.
429,600. So I always look at what the tax value is first.
Okay.
And from that point, I get a gauge of worst case scenario. This is what it's going to sell for. but that's never the case. Everything always used. I've always seen it sell once it's rehab, sell for more. Then I look at what's the average price in an area, and from what I saw, average price in that area is $500,000.
Okay.
So, and then this being a bigger square footage unit, then we're definitely looking good on that estimate at 500,000. So we're now at a good margin between as far as where we started with 275, as far as the sale price, and where we're hoping for, where we're gauging of 500,000.
Okay.
Then now that I see where the difference is, then now I'm looking at to see what my repair costs are going to be. And the first thing I looked at was, okay, all that vinyl is gone on the front, the back, the sides. Let's just say worst case scenario, we did all the vinyl. Let's just say $1,500 for every single side of that house for material.
Okay.
That, let's just say $5,000 in vinyl.
Okay.
Okay. Then as far as the roof, that roof, if we had to say replace the entire, let me just go and look at the front of that end of that unit. If we were just to replace the damaged portions,
okay,
because you definitely don't have to take off what's not necessary, but for the most part, everything on the back end of that roof is gone, and most of the right side of the front. So let's just assume we had to replace the whole roof. Let's just go there then.
Right.
If we had to replace the whole roof, I would put that roof at about 3, 6, 9. Let's just say $10,000, $9,000 to $10,000 in material for that roof. Okay. And I'm being generous on that because I've done a roof like this one before for cheaper than that, but I'm just being generous for the sake of example.
Okay.
All right. And then the next thing that's going to go is the windows on the back end and 2 on the front, or 3 on the front. And at about $200 a window, let's just say for brand new windows, or if we're looking at, sales, I would say about $2,000 in windows, about $1,500 to $2,000 for windows.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully you're adding this up because I'm not right.
I'm writing it down.
Okay, perfect. All right. Then the next thing that I would have done is the interior doors. Have all of those brought back in.
Okay.
I estimate about $1,200 in doors.
All right.
This is material. And the next thing
you're thinking interior Home Depot, Lowe's, $100 doors.
Actually, the doors I'm talking about, they're about $60 to $80. Yeah,
Okay.
Just under $100.
Yeah.
Just some basic doors. And of course, if you buy them in bulk, if you spend anything over, a certain dollar figure, it goes into the bidding room. So therefore you get discounts.
Yeah.
When you spend over a certain dollar figure at Home Depot and Lowe's. Then the next thing that I would have done, just looking at the house, is just basically just having the electrical and the plumbing handled by a licensed contractor. We can definitely have those handled for about $1,500 a piece. Everything's already there. It's just going through, making sure they have their name on it, pay them for their license, and pay for their time to go in and replace anything that's damaged and certify that everything's all right. And that's let's say $3,000 for electrical and plumbing to be taken care of. Then I would actually add another $1,500 for an HVAC person to come in and do the exact same thing. Just come in and do the exact same process. So there goes about $4,500.
No, do we know the exterior, like the condenser unit with the HVAC? Do you know if that's there?
I would even assume that that's even missing.
Okay.
Because the house that's already like this, I'm just going to assume it was stolen. And a lot of these units, you can get them for $400, $500 used.
Yeah.
As long as they match the contractor matches them, they can just throw one in there.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't even.
What do you estimate that to be for a condenser?
I would estimate that at $400, $400 or $500 for a used unit at 2.5 tons. Now this would be a house that would take a 2.
I was going to say, even with the square footage, we're talking about 4,000.
Right. But this would be a 2-unit situation, so I would expect that you to be in the inside of the house, a heat pump on the inside of the house in the attic, and I would expect an outside unit. I'm sorry, a heat pump on the outside, and then a electrical unit on the inside.
Okay.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying.
Yep.
So likely it's burnt up on the inside, but if it's not, that would definitely be about a $3,000 unit if it was brand new. But if it was used, once again, I could probably still be able to find that one for about $600 as well,
okay.
as the unit on the outside.
Gotcha.
All right, so now next stage would be drywall after the plumbing and electrical guys get their money and taken care of. Drywall, I would estimate about $5,000 in drywall for the square footage. Now, there's calculators online. You can just punch in the square footage and it'll tell you how many sheets of drywall.
Yep.
But just from my own experience using my own numbers on drywall, with this one, I would say about $5,000 to $7,000 in drywall.
Okay.
We'll go with 7,000 just to be safe.
All right.
All right. Then the next thing on this thing would be carpet, honestly, which is the cheapest thing to throw in here. Between carpet and hardwood in the kitchen. Carpet in the kitchen, carpet in the living room, carpet on the stairs, carpet in the bedrooms. Keep it easy on the numbers and easy on the person coming in. The person coming in, they'll have the room if they want to put hardwood. They have the room to do that if they want.
Yep.
But I would estimate carpet to be at about $3,000, and then hardwood to be at about $2,000 for the areas that we're going to do it in.
Okay.
But most of it will just be carpeted.
Right. So we're talking about hallways carpet, 4 bedrooms carpet.
Yep.
Possibly hardwood, living and kitchen, maybe?
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right.
And this would either be reclaimed hardwood.
Okay.
Not either. It would be reclaimed hardwood, which is way cheap. Instead of $3 foot, is $1 per foot.
Gotcha.
Places like Reese and some other places. Or in Baltimore, there's plenty of other places.
Yeah.
Yep. Machining it down and you know renting the unit to take care of that hardwood is about $275. I'm sorry, not $275. It's about $175 to have it for about a day.
So what you're talking about is buying reclaimed hardwood and then planing it down to basically planing it down to make it even and then be able to refinish it from there.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct. All right. So that costs to use the machine, I would say about $350 to use that machine.
Okay.
All right. So then the next thing that would happen after this, we've already got the drywall. I would now add tile, vanity, sinks, and faucets, things like that. That would be another $6,000.
Okay.
Where I get that number from is every single toilet. There's 4 of them in there. Or let's just say each bathroom is going to be about $1,000 of material, up and down from the vanity to the nice tile to the detail on the tile, and a tub. If you had to throw a tub, if one's not in there.
Got you.
$150, $200 tub, $300 decent vanity, and the balance of that in details with tile and material.
Okay.
So 4 bathrooms in there, about $4,000, and then you have the tile work that's going to go on the kitchen backsplash. That would be taken care of there from the floors.
And then would you use? I've seen it done. I actually did something similar of matching some of the accents in the kitchen backsplash to coincide with the bathroom tile.
Okay, I wouldn't match the kitchen to the bathroom, but I see where you're going.
I'm just thinking on the backsplash using similar tile feature that was in the bathroom.
Right. I can see that work. Honestly, if it's to save some money, if it looks good, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I've just always done it different in every single room, just so that way it looks different going in.
So you're thinking about doing 4 different style vanities? So a different style in each bath?
No. The vanities would be the same for the bathrooms.
Okay.
But the tile work from the kitchen to any bathroom would be different.
Gotcha. But would you match the bathrooms or no?
I wouldn't necessarily match each bathroom the exact same. I would change something slightly about them.
Yeah.
But I would definitely keep the vanities similar and close. For sure, the contrast would be the same, but I would do something slight.
Okay.
So it would be light gray, white, and brushed nickel, and the next one might be white, dark gray, and brushed nickel. Just something slightly different.
Like I think what you guys are saying. Excuse me if I'm overstepping, but it's just that you walk into a house, you know that mid level or that whatever that powder room always looks different compared to like your personal bathroom upstairs, your master bath, or the hallway bath.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know that powder bath is more for like guests and everybody else to use.
Yeah.
But then yours is almost like is more favorable in one color, but typically that powder room is always like a neutral color or overly inviting, you know?
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does.
At the end of the day, I wouldn't put too much effort and too much thought into it. I just want to make sure it just looks like something new every time they go in, but not spend a lot of money into making that effort.
Right.
Cool. Then the next thing is the kitchen cabinets. Minimum $5,000 for sure for kitchen cabinets, especially if you're looking for that kind of price tag. Give them some decent cabinets in there at a minimum of $5,000, whether it was, you got them used from somewhere and brought them in, which is great, or wholesale and brought them in.
Would that be kitchen cabinet and counter or cabinet?
No. That's just the cabinet. The counter is going to be about $23 on a deal a square foot for the granite.
All right.
Yeah, $23 a square foot for the granite, and I would estimate about let's just say 100 square feet, so another $2,300 for granite material.
Okay.
Yep. So, and that's including a free sink and a faucet, everything included in that. $2,300 for that.
What about appliances? Appliances?
I got a place for that. We can get a decent, honestly, again, at that price tag, I got to also remember that we're trying to sell $500,000.
Yep.
It's not a first time home buyer coming in here. And if it is, they're really looking for everything that they could possibly get.
Because they've been at home watching Flip This House and HGTV and
exactly. So you have to come with the appreciation that they're looking for the next level of detail.
Yeah.
They're not at the townhome stage. Not saying there's anything wrong with townhome, but not their first townhome. Waiting to get to their big house where they can get away with, okay cabinets. At this stage, they want some really nice cabinets and they want some really nice detail. So at the wholesale locations that we typically go to, you can find a refrigerator, instead of it spending $2,000-3,000 on a refrigerator that's out here right now, you can probably get some of these for $800, $700 on wholesale deal or real steep discount, secondhand, but it's still new.
Okay.
Secondhand, but it still looks new. $500-700 for a really nice one. That would be the goal.
Okay.
For the refrigerator, and then about $200 for the oven, $60 to $100 for the dishwasher, and they sound low on price, but they'll still look good. Those aren't items that are really crazy.
When you do that, how often are you able to actually match the finish and the brand?
As far as like if you have a stainless steel refrigerator, having the oven and the dishwasher match as well.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of people, if they come into a redone house, they're looking at, did he use Whirlpool and Armana and like mix and match? I know the finish, you can get stainless steel to kind of coincide pretty easy, but some people are stuck on the brand and having matching brands in their kitchen as well.
You're absolutely correct. And a lot of these wholesale houses, they'll actually have them set up by like all this is Whirlpool, all this is G, at least the one that I use in Baltimore.
Gotcha. Okay.
And honestly, they have so many options there. It's endless as far as what you can put your hands into.
Yeah.
But yes, you are correct. You do want to try to keep things easy on the person when they're looking at it. You don't want them to feel like they have to worry that something's going to fall apart because things look patched up.
Yeah.
Last thing you want is at that price tag to have someone feel like something was just thrown together.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So that's the kitchen. And then now we're working our way towards painting and doing some finishing touches. So painting all the rooms, base coats and everything. Painters are going to charge you about on a decent end, about $125 a room. So this particular house has 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, a living room, a foyer, homes. $1,200 is a good number to get that painted.
And is that labor, paint, everything?
That I would just put that at typical labor, because if you look at it, sometimes you may have some special type of paint you want to use for certain rooms.
Yep.
So I wouldn't go too crazy on that one, but $1,200 is a comfortable area to work with someone on a contracted rate. But if you went anywhere between $200-$300 up or down, that's okay.
Gotcha.
$1,200 is not too bad to expect for somebody to work with you on painting. Area.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to look real quick. You made me think of it. On the front of the house. Okay, so it's all siding.
Yep.
But it does appear to have fire damage possibly up here.
Yep. No, the whole roof area there, I would expect that each one of those plyboards likely would have to get replaced, because the support beams underneath that are going to get resupported and the damage removed.
Right.
And I didn't even get into that. The framing that would be spent on that material and framing, I would just estimate about another $1,000 just in framing material, just wood, plywood, studs, things like that.
Okay, cool.
And this is with the assumption that that they don't want a roofing company to actually bring in pre-pressed, pre-made roofing structures dropped on the house. Obviously, the roof's not gone; it's just damaged. So I can't expect that to be the case. But in this scenario, we can get away with that $1,000 in studs and wood items to be able to get that thing up to par and secure.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's what $10 a board. That'll give you 100 2x4s.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let me.
Baseboards, by the way, baseboards, things like that, that trim, crown molding, that would add about let's just add another $1,000 or $800 to $1,000 for that.
Okay.
Because crown molding would for sure end up in that house. Some decent baseboards would be in that house.
Okay. Cool. So let's do some math.
Okay. So where are we at with material?
So we got vinyl siding at 5,000.
Okay.
Right. You have roof 10,000. 2,000 in windows. 1,200 doors. 7,000 drywall. You had 3,000 in carpet. 2,000 in reclaimed hardwood. Miscellaneous for planing the hardwood of $275. You had the bathrooms at 4,000. Painting 1,200. You have upgrading the electricity at 3,000.
Electrical and plumbing.
Okay, so upgrading both.
Well, it's not necessarily meaning to upgrade, but it's to have, no licensed person is going to want to enter there knowing that they're putting their name on without being paid their full fee. Yep. Any repairs, they'll take care of it, but for their time and their license, I think $15 per trade would be good.
Okay. Then that heat pump HVAC, you had 1,500.
Yep.
If a full exterior HVAC is needed, should I add the 3,000 for now?
That's the attic for the top part of the house. The outside unit would definitely be about $600. So the inside unit is usually in the basement, and there's nothing wrong with that one, from what I could tell in the fire.
Okay, so let's add the 6 in there.
Yeah.
Kitchen cabinets, you're at 5. Appliances, what do you want to say? 1,500?
Yeah.
Kitchen countertop, you said about 23. Roofing upgrades, you were saying 7, 2. So let's just say 9 in material. And am I missing anything? I know you did. Yeah, you said 800 on baseboard.
Yeah.
And then additional 1,000 in framing.
Right. Now we have to deal with this labor. So, but this material, where are we at with material costs with everything?
52,275.
Sounds about right.
So that's your hard material cost.
Right.
Okay. All right. And now, I mean, I typically kind of think about it as far as like a process as to where you start to where you end up. Mm-hmm. What would your game plan be day one? Where would you start?
As far as we actually got the material now, mm-hmm. where would be the first thing that I would get going to?
Yep.
Or securing that roof. That's number one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Getting that roof taken care of. First, going in, having a look at what's supporting that roof from falling, mm-hmm. and then immediately re-supporting those areas, anchoring extra beams or extra support areas.
Gotcha.
That need to be addressed, take care of those, and remove the damaged ones after they've been re-supported. Then once that support is done, then add all of the ply boards to the roof. Remove all the old ply boards that are damaged, and then add the new ply boards. Cut off whatever's bad and put in whatever's new.
Okay.
After those ply boards are there, then we would add the weatherproofing and the shingles.
All right.
That's day one. The first thing that would happen on that house is taking care of that roof.
Okay.
Simultaneously, it would be removing all of that. All of that damaged siding.
Mm-hmm.
All of that damaged siding would get removed. Anything that's burnt, damaged, gets removed. That'll probably be like a day two scenario there,
mm-hmm.
if not simultaneously with the crew.
And then you still have a minor cost of disposing of all of that too.
Yeah, you would have a roll off outside. A dumpster roll off. They're not too big of a headache when it comes to cost.
Yeah.
But that would be out there hanging out, getting that thrown in there.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing that would then happen, or the third thing that would then happen, is replacing those windows, or weatherproofing the inside of the house that's been burnt, or the outside of the house that's been burnt up. Replacing that, and then replacing all those windows and weatherproofing all those windows that are damaged. What was that?
No, actually, I got a buddy jumped on here. He actually had a question for you.
Okay. A termite report. I would only deal with a termite issue the minute that I see termite damage. I wouldn't even worry about the termites if I don't see anything written about termite issues. If I've ever seen any termite issues on a house, is usually like somewhere around the rain gutters or the rain spouts, nearing any kind of wood fibers close to the ground.
Okay.
And in that area is the first place I would expect termite damage to appear.
Gotcha.
But usually a termite issue is not a big problem to me. That's just cutting out damaged wood and replacing it, of course, but having someone come out and spraying the entire perimeter and handling it. But that's not a big problem to me at a situation like that.
Okay. No, I mean, so if you go through with this project and you do all the work, likely the purchaser is going to run that inspection as well.
Absolutely. And they're gonna go ahead and take a look the same way as we're going to take a look.
Mm-hmm.
The inspector's going to see obviously what they have, their eyes visible, what they're able to see.
Right.
In the stage that we're at right now, where it is nothing but studs and exposed wood, we can see whatever they're probably not even going to be able to see. And we'll take care of it the minute that we see it. But clearly there wasn't any kind of public report to us for us to see that there was any termite damage, nor was there any report to us there was mold. Mm-hmm. But I would definitely expect that somewhere in that house, especially in the basement, likely there's some mold.
But I mean, I can't imagine, even though the studs and everything look fine, you have a fire that they put out with water.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, and it's just been sitting. And do you know when the fire occurred?
I really don't even know. And looking at the way that the house has been sitting there and looking at the bushes and trees and the way it's been kept, it doesn't look like it was too far away from our current point right now. I mean, obviously they're using a fireplace. It had to be during the winter. You see what I'm saying? They weren't using that during the summer.
Okay.
So that property hasn't been around too long. But for sure, I wouldn't be surprised if I smelled a little bit of mold. We would just take care of it in that process. I wouldn't expect a mold report or any kind of public declaration that there was mold in the house. I wouldn't expect that.
All right. So let me pull. I sent you this prop stream report, right?
Yeah. Yep. I remember.
Let me pull that up, and we can kind of look and kind of determine, I think, a little bit better what the comps are.
Okay.
I mean, I know you said that, was it high 400s or right around 500 is the after repair?
Yeah, 500 is definitely a number.
Okay.
That I could see it selling for easily.
Have you looked at recent solds?
There's currently one on the market at 520.
But that's active though, right?
Yeah, that's after. Recent sales have been at close to 490 something.
Okay.
But they weren't as big as this property.
Gotcha. All right. Let's go on prop stream.
Yep, there we go. Yep, 493 average comps. 500 is exactly what I want to see.
Yeah, so average comp 493.
Yeah.
Estimated rent is around 3,000.
Yep.
So we can actually do a detailed right here. So you're looking at values 490 as of January last year, 489. Okay. And then let's look at, so as you mentioned, this is actually on the market for 275. And comparables.
And as you see there, it said $475,000 was the last sale price in 2004.
Let me go back.
On the right-hand side, it says that. So that's a really strong community. People come in and stay in there.
Right. So right here, the last prior sale.
Yep.
475, and that was 2000. That was 15 years ago.
Right.
Yep.
Pre-bubble, and clearly, folks, once they come in, they stay in. In that area. That's a good sign.
Yeah, so like the average per square foot comparable is between 200 and about 230 a square foot. Yeah. Okay. Now, do you know anything about? So yeah. Okay. So they're showing there's a current mortgage.
Right.
Yep. So there's that 426 that you're talking about. Yep. Recording in 05. Okay. What did the tax information show?
429.
Yep, 429, 600 as of 19. Okay.
So you can't get no less than that.
True. So
no one's going to negotiate below your tax value, your tax assessment.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. So if you're at 275 on the buy,
right,
and then you're at let's just say 60, right?
What?
60 on your rehab. We haven't talked about labor.
Yeah, perfect. So your typical retail contractor is going to charge you, on average, 3 times your material cost. So if you went to someone retail, Joe Schmo, construction and rehab, whatever, they're not in there to help you out as an investor. They're there as a provider. They're not looking at you as a partner in anything. They're there to collect their funds up front, make their profit margins.
Yeah.
I've always seen if your material costs $2, their labor with that material is $6.
Okay.
So you're always going to spend between $6 to $8 for every bit of labor. So basically, if we went retail, we would be spending $150,000 to do the same project. But because we're the ones that obviously know material costs, we know what things actually where they come from and how much things are at the stores, we can cut our labor down to half of that. So I can expect labor to be at about $20,000 versus another $50,000 just in labor. Here's where I'm getting that.
Okay.
So at labor being at $20,000, we're talking about a solid daily crew, 5 day a week crew working 8-hour days, right? On a roof, you'll typically see 5 guys working on it, and it'll be done in 2 days, right? Okay. 5 guys in 2 days. Let's just say they all got paid $20 an hour. You're talking about what, 5 times 20 is $100 an hour, 8 hours, $800, 2 days, $1,600 to get that roof labor put in. I'd estimate that roof material at $10,000.
So back up for 2 seconds. So you're in a sense, you're not talking about hiring a contractor.
Nope.
You're talking about, okay.
I'm talking about bringing in your own crew.
Got you.
Yep. If you want to hire your own contractor, you can bump those rates up. But if you've got your own setup, like for me in my scenario, already have a set group of people that already have their hourly rates already agreed upon in advance.
Are they insured and licensed?
I would be the one, dealing with that. Now, if you're working on someone that is insured and licensed, obviously you're going to pay a premium for that. You're at $50 an hour at that point.
True.
But if you're working with someone that's carrying that burden, for example, every investment property where an investor's involved, you're going to want to put a premium on there for the carrying cost of insurance to insure the property. General liability.
That's exactly where I was headed. I was like, I don't know if I want to sleep at night. Having that type of liability.
Right, but the person who's actually giving up that money has that in that agreement put in there, and they'll force you to buy it from their person to go in and buy their general liability to go in and do that construction.
Okay.
Now that's for the general contract work. Now the obvious plumber, the obvious electrical guy, that's what we paid them their $1,500 to come in and do whatever it is, whether it's cut 2 wires and they're done. It doesn't matter. Just pay them their $1,500 because it's for that safety of knowing their insurance there to cover it.
Gotcha.
Right. So if I'm covering the insurance, then I'm having to look at paying $50 an hour for that person who's going to bring me that crew. So that means 5 guys times $50 an hour, basically. But if I'm going under the general liability insurance that my money man is giving me, he's also giving me an insurance policy that I have to now pay for in the agreement. And that insurance policy is covering the general contract work and the labor. So that is the overarching insurance for the general work.
Okay.
Okay.
So your money person, your lender, is carrying a policy as well, as what you're saying?
No, they're partnering us they're basically giving us, like, how you would go to the title agency connected to whoever is selling the property. They'll always refer their title company.
Right.
So the person lending the money to you is also going to refer their insurance carrier for you to have your general insurance, the typical things you would expect to see on a property anytime you have employees on there or contractors working on anyone.
Okay.
General liability policies. And those policies are there to cover anything that goes on up to $1 million.
Okay.
So that's who would obviously send you that particular situation. If you go outside of that scenario, expect to pay that general contractor's premium. His insurance company is going to charge him, then he's going to charge you. And he's going to add on his premium to it.
Okay.
So the easiest to cut the middleman is obviously go directly to the insurance provider between the money person and you have an agreement set up, because they will cut the check to the money person.
Right.
But the contractor, he's getting the check cut to him.
Gotcha. Me personally, I like having the someone else's liability, but obviously you've done this before, so I still want to ask. It's what?
No, it's all the. It's just a matter of who the check gets cut to at the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay.
That is all that matters. Who the check gets cut to at the end of the day, and so we're done with that one. So the roof, we're looking at $1,200 to $1,500 to throw 5 guys in that scenario to put that roof together. Framing, you can have probably about $500 to $600 just to reframe any support structures in that house. Any support beams, replacing them, $500 to $600. That'll all get handled for labor. Same scenario. All right, you got 12 to
1,500 in labor for the roof.
Yep, you got it. Yep, and then the next scenario. So laying out the carpet, I've seen people do. My guys in particular, I've seen people do 1,200. Well, don't even quote this. This included material, by the way. Don't quote this one. But he did a whole townhouse, top to bottom, for $1,200. A whole 1,500 square foot townhouse.
What, did he steal the carpet?
This is the kind of connections you want to maintain. That's why I still have his cell phone number. I didn't care where he got it from, but he said, whatever you need, let me know. He came with padding included, padding and the carpet for $1,200. So what I definitely know in that example, you can definitely get carpet rolled out. Let's just say about in that house, I would say about $1,000. I can get somebody to roll out carpet. Okay, $1,000 to roll out carpet, rolled out and cut. And again, this is the same concept that I'm telling you about. But we have 20 to $25 an hour guys coming in and doing the work at the end of the day.
Okay,
and carpet can get rolled out in that house within a day. We're talking one day. Okay.
Yep.
So the next point of labor is your drywall people. And let me go in order because I just went to carpet. I didn't talk about drywall. So your drywall person, that person is definitely going to be a skilled person. They're going to come in at about, in that square footage, they would come in at about about $2,000 to $3,000 to do all that drywall in labor. It's going to be probably about a three-man crew to do all that drywall.
Okay.
The next point is your woodwork, your tile. That woodwork isn't really all that much. I would quote that at about $300 in labor just to get all that woodwork in. We're talking about the kitchen and the living room. And now that sounds cheap to most people. However, once again, we're talking about a person that's agreeing to work under my umbrella, meaning the same person that did the drywall is also the same person that could also do the woodwork.
Gotcha.
The same person that's doing the painting is also the same person that that did the drywall. So this is the same group of people, and this is not new to most people to have a guy who's pretty much handy in a lot of these areas, but won't touch electrical. Handy in a lot of these areas, but won't touch plumbing. But he can put up anything with wood. He can put anything with tiles and with carpet, no problem, as long as he's staying employed at $20 an hour.
Okay, and are these guys mostly like day labor?
Mostly guys that are day laborers, but these aren't guys that are day laborers where they don't already have other partners that they're already working with every single day.
Okay.
So they're constantly busy. They already have a crew that come with them. These aren't people waiting at Home Depot.
Okay.
But these are people that this is all that they do, and they usually work with their cousin or their nephew, or usually come with 3 or 4 guys that are already in the family.
Gotcha.
Perfect. But again, that number between 20 and 25 is a great place to stay at, to give you an idea.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And again, the number that I just gave you with the flooring at 300, this is based on a 10 by 10 square foot, room. Yep. And then a kitchen, that's about, it's not that much room on a kitchen floor. It's probably the same as a 10 by 10 room.
Okay.
All right. So the next area is, unless it's done with tiles. So the next area is the bathroom finishing. For what's that? 4 bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
I would estimate about $600 each bathroom in labor.
Okay, and that's what tile installed.
Tile installed, everything installed from tile, detail, all that installed, and that's going to be a 2-day process, 2 days worth of work.
When we were doing the upgrade with the plumbing and the electric, would your plumber be the one installing the vanity toilet, that type stuff?
Your plumber is supposed to, but in this scenario that we're looking at with this house, it's already there. So the plumber's not even going to touch it.
Okay. I mean, the roughing, the pipes are already existing, right?
Correct. So the plumber's not even going to touch any of this.
Okay.
Only they would be the ones to do that,
Yep.
but they're not going to touch this because it's already there. So that person would just come in, drop in a vanity, and what, they only have about 6 feet of wall to throw in their tile work on in the bathroom, and then 5 feet by 4 feet of flooring to throw in tiles on the floor.
Okay.
One day to let the mortar dry, unless they put a heater in there and speed that drying process up. One day to let the mortar mix in there dry. Next day to obviously deal with the grout after it's been, the tile's been dried up on the floor. They'll grout it the following day. And wipe it down.
So what are we looking at all in with labor?
Again, I was talking about right under $20,000 or at $20,000 for labor because it's half of my material costs.
Okay.
My whole principle is whatever my material cost is, I expect my labor to be half of it. That's my fair number of my math in my head.
Right. So we were at what, 50, 57 and some change. So you're probably going to be 25, 26, somewhere in that range on labor.
Yeah, we're at 52 and a half, but we're at
2. Okay.
Say 25,000 in labor would be a just fine enough number to stay at. Okay. Very realistic.
And then on a house this size, I mean, the square footage is pretty large. It's over 4,000 square feet. What type of time frame are you budgeting based on the hourly, daily rate?
Right. The same exact time frame I would put on any project. This project, I would expect this to be done within 3 months. Okay. Here's why. Roof, 2 days. Framing within 1 day, as far as framing support. Drywall, I would put that at 3 days.
Okay.
3-4 days.
Okay.
As far as putting it up and finishing it, we'll add an additional day for the finishing of it. So let's just say a week for drywall.
Okay.
Then we're talking about paint, tile, wood floors, carpet. 4 different areas. Each of them 2 days, let's just say a piece. So there goes a month just in general material. Then we have the outside vinyl. Let's just say we would take that within a week's time for that amount of vinyl.
Okay.
Yep. So right there, we're at about a month and a half, or a month and 2 weeks. Okay.
And then do you normally calculate in some type of a padding as far as financial padding, as this didn't happen, we're waiting on this inspection, and that didn't happen because we can't start the next project, we can't get going until we get that approved?
Right. Now, you always call for inspections, of course, once the project is done, right? That's how the inspectors want you to do that.
But what I'm thinking here, though, not to cut you off, what I'm thinking here is everything's exposed, right?
Right.
They're still going to have to come and do a cut-in inspection and then a close-in inspection before you even get started with drywall. So I'm just thinking of a time frame more than anything, as you get in there, you get permits pulled, you go in and finish the rough-in, finish the electric based on the permitting, and you call for that close-in inspection. I'm not familiar with this county in Maryland. I don't know what their time frame is. I know in other counties in Maryland, it can take a couple days. It just depends on their schedule. Do you have any idea in this county how they operate?
Well, even if they took a week, we're still looking good on the level of condition that this house is.
Okay.
Now, if it did take a week, which I've not seen that, but it does exist, where in a particular area there's a bunch of construction going on. Therefore, there's a limited number of inspectors. You have to wait a week, sometimes 10 days. If there's a bunch of construction going on in that area. My personal experience has been I've seen an inspector 24 hours after I put it in. 24 hours later, there's a person they're looking at your project. So let's just fudge in a week for buffer for inspections for 3 inspections: plumbing, electrical, framing, plumbing, and electrical. Then there's the final, which is the 4th, and I don't see them holding anybody up over that. So that's 4 different inspections. Four different. I'm sorry, 5. Then they're going to want to see installation for the attic, right?
Yep.
So 5 different inspections. Each one of them, I would expect at the very most to take no more than a week to deal with if you're waiting for anything.
Okay.
This one wants to take a week. That one wants to take a week. That's 5 weeks of wait time. That's a whole month just waiting. Now, does that mean that we're just sitting around not doing anything? Nope. We're just doing the very next thing on the agenda. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're closing up any walls. What does it mean? It means we're doing something we typically wouldn't be doing, which is we might be laying down the hardwood floor when typically you would lay down the hardwood floor after your drywall is done. But we're not going to resurface anything because you don't want to have a resurfaced floor and now you just drop some paint on your floor that you just resurfaced.
Right.
You just lay down the hardwood, unfinished, rough and everything. We'll find something to do. So in that scenario, we would probably likely the very first things that we would get done is the framing would get inspected, the electrical and the plumbing will all get done like simultaneously back to back. So that way those are all out of the way. Then the installation would get done, and then it will allow us to close.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be too worried about that one. That's not too big of a worry. But even if you did have that, you can still stay within that 3-month time frame of getting that done with a crew of 5 at every stage of the process.
Okay. So we're estimating about 74,000 in rehab.
Right.
Okay. So 5 and 74. So our all in is going to be about 350.
Yep.
Okay.
350. Then now we have to talk about what did it cost to borrow the money from whoever. The
cost of the money. Yep.
Cost of the money. So there are different types of lenders in this scenario. There are lenders that are actually what they call hard money lenders. They'll let you borrow money if you either have a deal that makes sense and you have money to go and fix it. Therefore, you have to have $74,000 in your account somewhere, ready to go, or equity somewhere that you can pull out, ready to go to deal with it. And I've seen where they'll take 6% of whatever you're borrowing against that loan. So 6% of 275 is what they will want to see in their pocket as their profit. Then there's a scenario where you have people that will let you borrow money with zero money out of your pocket other than collateral. So if you have a house that you own worth what you're trying to borrow, you can borrow the entire asking price plus the rehab value. And they'll give you all that money with you obviously turning over your deed to them,
right,
in a lien position. And that person is going to give you that money at 10%, possibly 10% interest.
Okay.
So in that scenario, I mean, 10% is at the highest you'll find, the highest. Okay.
Yeah, I've talked to guys that are between like 12 and 15%.
Oh wow, highest I've seen has been 10. So wow, okay. So
and points on the back end.
Okay. So on the front end, for sure, they're getting that. At least what I've seen, 6%. And I've negotiated where they didn't get anything else on the back.
Okay.
I've been able to successfully negotiate 6% on the front and nothing else on the back, and that was all in.
Gotcha.
And some they were able to deal with a flat fee. Some of them just said, just give me 10 grand and you can have it, but you only have 30 days to hold that money. So everything is upon that person you're working with. They're all flexible is one thing.
And they'll finance the buy and the rehab?
Typically, they'll just finance the buy when it's a low interest rate.
Okay.
Not the rehab.
Okay.
9 times out of 10, you're working with someone who's only going to finance the purchase of it, not the rehab deal.
Okay.
And anybody that's going to deal with even entertaining this whole conversation, they're going to want to see past performance, period. And they're going to want to see a written out plan from phases. First week, this is everything that's going to happen. We're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. And you send pictures to show proof that you've done those things, then they'll issue out the next approval for the next phase. And when I say issue out, I'm basically saying when you show them proof that you have the funds with that one hard money lender, they're going to ask to hold those funds to make sure you don't go and spend it on a Las Vegas hot night.
Right.
And now they're stuck with a property that's not moving. Yeah. So they'll typically hold those funds and like escrow and issue you out a check according to your work plan. Week 1, I need $6,000 to do XYZ. Week 2, I need $15,000 to do XYZ. And at each week, you're sending them proof that you've done it to get the next check, all the way to the execution of the final walkthrough.
Okay.
All right. So like I said, at most from what I've seen 10%, and it's all in front and back, 10%. And at what we're dealing with at what do we say, 275 all in. So that's 27,500. Let's just say $30,000, $27,500 to $30,000 that this investor is getting in total in their pocket to borrow their money.
And over what term are they typically financing that?
The term is forfeiture, of course. That's one. Forfeiture of whatever collateral is involved, or forfeiture of any interest in the property. If they have to basically take the property and give it to someone else that they have in their pipeline of investors and take over the property. Obviously going to court and and dealing with other interests from, I mean, your firstborn, who knows? But the idea is you don't want to play with someone who's putting up their money.
Yeah.
You know, you do not want to play with that person. They will go as far as they need to go to get you out of the industry or to get their money back. One of the other.
Yep.
But and that's the reason why they'll hold all that capital in their own pocket rather than let you hold it.
Got you. And now, do they typically? You just started to mention that. I don't know if some of our watchers are familiar, but some lenders will actually pay you in draws and not pay you. I mean, if this guy's doing the full purchase, obviously he's putting up 100%. But on the rehab side, I know a couple lenders will actually pay you in like 3 different draws. So you'll have like the first draw of, like, for this was what, 25,000. They'll loan you 10,000 and then get you to a certain point, loan you another 10,000, get you to the next point. Like, they won't always do it at one time. So then you're actually only paying interest on what they're loaning at the time. Have you done anything like that?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. However, they the last deal that I did, he didn't charge me any interest on the draws. What he did was he just charged me a one-time financing up front for what I was borrowing. So 6% flat on what I borrowed. The money that I was drawing from was my own personal money.
Okay.
So he held on to all the money I needed for the repairs. He was giving me back my money.
Sure. Okay.
So in a sense like this, where it's 100% the bank is financing it, they're giving me by the week. Obviously, we're talking about a 12-week process. So every single week, there's a certain check, 12 checks in total. Each check is being given. Now, that could be I don't know if it's going to be in the person's best interest to be charged interest by the draw or just be charged on the total lump sum. And I'm thinking just being charged one time on a total lump sum makes it easy. So like what we're looking at right now, 10% on 275, 27,500, done deal. Versus you're holding on to X amount of money over the course of 4 or 12 weeks or over the course of 6 weeks, whatever. It's just easier to look at it like this and not get too complicated on it.
All right. So using the numbers that we just went over, what's your exit strategy on this property? What are you gonna rent it? You're gonna
sell it. Sell it. I mean,
so you're gonna relist it, MLS?
Yeah, relist it. Obviously, you could easily rent it until someone decides they want to buy it. But for that area, no one in there is someone that's in there buying and selling left and right. Everybody's in there. Their families are in there for the long haul. It seems like in that neighborhood.
Okay.
And even if there were investors that were holding on to their properties and just putting it up for rent, I would just sell this house.
Okay.
I would really put this up for rent or try to Airbnb it. I would just basically put it up on the MLS and get it sold because, for one, it's in top 5 county, top 5 schools. It's nearby a well-traveled destination, a casino, and it's got manicured lawns and it's got excellent square footage for someone to call it their second home or their dream home.
Okay.
So someone would definitely buy that property, and from what I'm seeing online, everything sells there in less than 30 days in that community.
Okay.
So that wouldn't be a problem getting rid of. It's just a matter of what your pockets feel like. If you feel like you need to move your money out of that investor's hands quickly and back into your hands, get rid of it. But if you have longevity where you feel like, hey, look, I can work around the equity and deal with if there's ever any equity lying around, you want to just rent it and then deal with equity later on.
Okay.
That's up to you. But I would just sell it, get rid of it, take care of my investor, and move along.
Okay.
I wouldn't try to refinance it and pay back the investor and carry that cost burden. For me personally, I would just sell it and keep it moving because that area, everyone's buying in that area.
Okay. Yeah. So wow, we've been on here for over an hour already.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe what we should probably plan on doing is seeing, if this project works for you, if you get into the project, and then maybe doing a follow-up as you go through the process of rehabbing this house. I think everybody would really enjoy seeing that.
That sounds good to me.
Cool. So if you're in the Maryland area, I know you're always looking for investors or contractors or rehabbers. What information can you provide them, how they can get in contact with you?
The best way to get in contact with me would be to give me a call. I have a multimedia company. Give me a call on my toll-free line.
Yeah.
The number is 1-888-810-1015.
Okay. And is that direct to you, or that's kind of a call service, and they can leave you a message?
It'll ask them to press my extension. Just follow the prompts. It'll get to me. I believe that's like extension 1.
All
but right. Yep, if they give me a call, then that we can have a conversation if time permits.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
So you up for following through and seeing if this thing can happen, huh?
I mean, I know it can happen. It's just a matter of getting the money put together. That's the only thing. We didn't really get to the final end as far as what the profit at the end of the day is going to be.
Well, let's do that real quick.
Yeah, so we're at what, 349 all in, labor, material, everything, right?
Yep.
So now we got to talk about. Wait, did that include the investors' money in there?
No.
No. We got to put that in there.
Yep.
Okay.
So you got 349 buy and rehab.
Yeah. Plus 10% of that borrow.
So then you got another 35 grand in interest.
No, I thought it was 27.5. No, I'm sorry. You're right. $30,000 because it was the purchase of 27.5 plus the.
The reason why I'm doing 10% of 349 is because
that's the all-in number. Yeah, that's correct.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was messed up on that. So 349 plus another 10% of that. 34 grand. Okay. All right. Now we got to add taxes, and interest, or taxes and points for the real estate people. Closing.
And we're doing a sale price at
500,000.
All right. So let's do 500, right?
Yep.
Times
listed at
506. You got 30 grand for your realtors.
Yep.
Okay. Taxes, holding costs, all that type stuff. What about 2%?
Yep.
So you got another 10 grand there.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're at 423.
Where are you at?
423,000, right?
423K all in. Okay.
Right. We're at $500,000. Sale price $77,000 in a margin for profit.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying 500 minus the 423.
Right.
So you have 77
Right.
potential. Okay. So you're basically looking at 500 by 77.
And this is with a sales listed price at $275,000. We would obviously want to offer $25,000 less than that and see what happens. But anything under $275,000 is a wonderful payday at the end of all of this. So it's $77,000 in 3 months' time. That's well worth the effort.
So we didn't say this, but what was your strategy on the purchase? How are you going to fund the purchase? You're going to possibly, I'm sorry, not fund the purchase. How are you going to approach the seller with your offer? You're going to use what resource from your hard money lender? Do they write like a proof of funds letter for you?
It would be a proof. I mean, it would be an offer letter, of course, that would be written up with proof of funds. That would either be a bank guarantee that someone's obviously able to fund it. It would either be a certificate of funds from like a Chase Bank or JP Morgan or any big bank, or it could just basically be a check that somebody could write with bank statements saying, "I personally have these funds ready to be able to buy this house."
Gotcha.
You know, anybody that's basically got the funds to be able to back it up, that's what you want.
Okay.
Once you're in that position, that ballpark, then they'll entertain your contract and lock it before anybody else jumps into it.
Yeah. How long has this property been on the market?
4 days now, 3 to 4 days now.
Oh, so it's really new. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Pat. I appreciate it, man. I think it's great information for everybody, and let's see if we can make this deal work. And I mean, right now the numbers are looking pretty sweet. I'm sure there's a lot of other things, details, whatever we didn't discuss. But I mean, if you just do the round numbers, you're looking at basically a potential of about 70,000 plus.
Right.
In what, 3 to 5 months?
Right.
Yeah.
Even if it took 5 months, that's still a great payday. But it's, you know, and this is a potential that could happen if you just keep your eyes open and don't look at situations like this and be too fearful of them. It's just more working with somebody who's got some experience that'll just say, "Nah, don't worry about the fires. Just look and see what's, you know, look behind the curtain and just see what's the real deal behind it. You know, or a couple people would replace them, no problem.
Yeah,
and then go from there."
Okay. Cool, man. You got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, man. I appreciate it, and yeah, we'll be linking up soon.
All right. Talk to you.
All right, man. All right. Bye. See you. All right, guys. It was Patrick, buddy of mine, local real estate investor in the Maryland markets, going over numbers of a potential rehab flip that he's working on. And I didn't mention it the whole time, but don't forget, hit the subscribe button down below. Hit a like, little thumbs up for me. We're getting a YouTube channel going here, trying to work on some strategies, small business stuff, you know, for entrepreneurs. I'm also setting up a website. It's actually going to be my name, chrisbirch.biz, B-I-Z for business. So chrisbirch.biz. Hopefully we'll get that up in the next, I don't know, week or two, hopefully, to start sharing some of the stuff that we work on. All right. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you guys, and talk to you soon.